Dear friends, welcome to this fourth video, which has as its subject the way that leads to God. Today we're going to talk about interior reform. You may have already heard this expression because it's very common in the ladies' work. A pope of the Catholic Church, Pope Paul VI, was the first to make it known. Then Mary Paul instilled this idea into the members of the work by inserting it in the program of life of the Night of Mary. In a word, interior reform can be described as all the efforts we are invited to make in order to live more and more as a son or daughter of God. Our inner life can be compared to a large garden. Interior reform aims to organize it and to maintain it in the best possible way, to get lots of beautiful flowers and beautiful fruit. At the beginning of life, everyone starts with a garden in which there are all kinds of plants, mainly good ones, but also bad ones. At your age, your parents help you to distinguish the ones from the others, and they teach you how to stay in control of your inner garden, encouraging the growth of the good plants. The care of a garden requires constant attention. This attention is a bit like the sun in nature. We know that the sun helps the plants grow. In the same way, the attention we pay to the good plants of our inner garden help them grow and develop. If in our soul we give our attention to God, our love for Him will grow. And this will be reflected in our behavior, our attitude, etc. If, on the contrary, we give our attention to a negative feeling, such as jealousy, for example, it is likely to multiply like a weed and end up taking up a lot of space in our inner garden. A good gardener does not give free rein to the weeds. Every day he goes around his garden to look after the good plants, to pull out and destroy the bad ones. He doesn't want to see them in his garden. And when necessary, he does not hesitate to ask for help and to follow the good advice he can receive. Taking care of your inner garden is also taking care of the garden of others. Let me give you an example. From a young age, Mary Paul made it a point to highlight the successes and the qualities of the neighbor while excusing his shortcomings. When we encourage the neighbor for the good he does, when we pay sincere attention to his good deeds, it is as if we are allowing the divine Sun who inhabits us to project its rays on the good plants that exist in the other's garden. In life, you will often have the opportunity to see how much a few well-intentioned words may have a great impact in the life of those around you. If, on the contrary, we have negative thoughts about the neighbor, such as jealousy, anger, or contempt, for example, then it will be more difficult for us to be positive and to sincerely love that person. Mary Paul leads us by example. In a letter to her cousin Simon, she wrote, "Every morning I renew the vow never to say anything bad about anyone, even if I were right. Every morning, waking up, that's my first thought." Even if she could be right on the negative behavior of a person, she decided not to talk about it, to protect his reputation and foster the blossoming of love. Of course, dear young people, I would nevertheless like to make something clear here. If someone hurts you or behaves badly towards you, do not hesitate to tell your parents or a trusted adult to inform them and receive advice. Interior reform therefore requires that we know how to develop good habits and fight the bad ones. Another example that deserves our attention is the love of work. In the first volume of the poem of the Man God, we see Jesus as a young child who learns woodworking from Saint Joseph. Jesus insists on the importance of these learning moments. Let us listen to what he tells us. Joseph made a clever workman of me. As soon as I was old enough to handle tools, he did not let me lead a life of idleness. It means he didn't want to let the young Jesus waste his time doing nothing. But he started me to work, Jesus continues, and he made use of my love for Mary as the means to spur me to work. Jesus loved his tender mother very much, and Joseph knew it. So, to stimulate him to work well, he had to make useful things for his mother. Jesus also loved Saint Joseph very much, from whom he learned everything concerning the carpenter's trade, which he exercised until the beginning of his public life at the age of 30. In the image of Jesus, each of you is invited to learn from your parents the love of work, for example, by accomplishing small household chores to help with the smooth running of everyday life. This is how we fight laziness, called the mother of all vices. Laziness is like a weed which makes us avoid any work. The best way to fight it is simply to ignore it and to devote oneself to doing all kinds of small, useful jobs. As you can see, interior reform invites us to develop virtues and fight vices, to be attentive to love, and to ignore the temptations of the evil one. In the next video, we will continue together our exploration of interior reform with the help of other examples. Thank you for your attention. I now give you my blessing. May all the divinity bless you, as well as all your loved ones, the Father and the Son, the Mother and the Daughter, in the unity of the Spirit. Amen.